When you want to ask your supervisor to change your work schedule, you make that request in the employee portal. Using the calendar, you can quickly zoom into the day that you want to change. When you get to that day, you see a timeline showing you what your current work schedule is for the day. Below the timeline, there is a button labeled Request Schedule Change. You click this button to initiate the process of formulating and submitting your request. When you click the button, you see a second timeline appear. This is where you will see what your schedule would look like if your request is approved. Right now it looks the same as your current schedule because you haven't entered a request. The Change Type drop-down list is where you select the type of change you want to make to your schedule. If you click on this list right away, you see only a couple of entries: days off and overtime. If you want to take the entire day off or several days off in a row, you can select the days off option. If you want to request credit for overtime that you've already worked or that you anticipate having to work, you can select the overtime option. There are other types of requests, but in order to help the application understand what you're trying to do, you first have to click on a segment in the timeline to establish context. By clicking on a segment in the timeline, you tell the employee portal that you want to make a change to that particular time segment. When you click on a regular work segment, you have new options in the Change Type drop-down list. You can now create a request to change your work hours, take time off during the shift, or schedule a special duty assignment. Special duty assignments are times when you are working and getting paid, but are unavailable to perform your normal duties. The most common example of a special duty assignment is when you are scheduled for training during your shift. If your organization tracks minimum staffing levels, you will not be counted towards staffing during a special duty assignment. Let's ask for some time off during the shift. When you select a change type, you will see several data fields display where you will enter the detail of your request. The first field is a drop-down list where you select the reason why you are asking for time off. Generally, this reason corresponds to the type of benefit time you are requesting to use. In this case, we'll request sick time so that we can go to a doctor's appointment. The next two fields are the from date and through date fields. These will both default to the day you are viewing on the timeline. If you change these dates so that they are different from one another, you will be able to ask for multiple full days off. In this case, you are asking for time off during your shift. The start time and end time fields allow you to ask for the entire time segment or just part of it off. In this example, you are going to ask for the last 2 hours off. You do this by changing the start time of the request to 2 hours before the end time. Please note that you are not entering the time that you want to work, but rather the time that you want to take off. Once you enter the times, you can also enter a note. It is up to your organization's policies or your supervisor to decide how much information you should put into the request. We strongly discourage putting any specific medical information in this note in order to alleviate any privacy concerns or regulatory compliance problems. Once you are done formulating your request, you can submit it. Before doing that, you'll notice that there is an Apply button and there is a Cancel button as well. The Cancel button does what you would expect. It cancels the request you are working on and brings you back where you started. The Apply button allows you to complete this request and see it on the requested schedule timeline prior to submitting it. Using the Apply button allows you to create a multi-part request. Say, for example, you need to take 4 hours off during your shift, but you want to use 2 hours of vacation and 2 hours of personal time. The best way to do that is to enter the 2-hour vacation request first, click Apply, and then submit the personal time request. When you submit a multi-part request, your supervisor will approve or decline the entire request at once, eliminating the possibility that you end up with only part of your request approved. Once you submit your request, you will see the requested change displayed in the second timeline on the screen. Your supervisor receives a notification of the request. Once the supervisor approves or denies your request, you will receive a notification of the supervisor's decision. At the bottom right of the page, you see a detailed display of your request that indicates that it is pending. The pending status indicates that your supervisor has not yet approved or denied the request. While a request is pending, you have the option to cancel it. If you do, your supervisor will receive a notification that you have canceled the request. Once your supervisor has approved your request, you will receive a notification. Let's take a look at the notification. The summary display tells you what you really need to know. If you want to take a closer look, click anywhere on the summary display. If you click on the Go To button in the Detail section of the notification, you will be taken to your schedule for the day of the request. On the Schedule screen, you will now see a single timeline that reflects the change that was made to your schedule. You will also see the notification and the approved schedule change request displayed below. This concludes our overview of how to request changes to your schedule. Additional videos in this series will take a closer look at how to submit other types of schedule change requests, such as shift swaps, overtime, and changes to work hours. If you are a supervisor, look for the videos that show you how you can review and approve change requests and make changes directly to your employees' schedules.